Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Dean guitars, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get into it. So what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name's Ray. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube, and Dean Guitars is kind of going through it right now. They're certainly trying to weather a rough patch and have had a lot of bad PR lately. And yeah, man, it's just not looking good as of late. And yeah, so I wanted to make this video right here to kind of just talk on everything that's going on and give my opinions and give a little bit of a different insight on the situation or situations. Now, I feel like I have a unique insight on Dean Guitars because I'm friends with a lot of people that work down there. Everybody from artist relations to the people who just work the phones, people who build the guitars, the CEO, head of marketing, head of artist relationships, if I didn't say that already, just everybody, man. I feel like I know a lot of these people and relatively well too. Now, this video is not intended to bash Dean Guitars. I'm going to be very middle of the road, very unbiased as best I can, but also fair. On this channel, I do a lot of news stories. I cover the news quite regularly. And unfortunately, just because I'm close with, a company doesn't mean that I'm going to shy away from what's going on in current events. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not going to bash and I'm not going to talk down on anybody, but I am going to be fair and I am going to lay out my opinions and, express them in a way that is professional and still gets the message across, okay? And if you guys want to play along at home, leave your thoughts down below about Dean Guitars and what has been going on, and I'll meet you down below in the comments, all right? With that all being said, let's get into some good, some bad, and some ugly, all right? So now, let's start with the bad category, what I consider the bad category. The bad category is a lot of the artists, almost all of the artists have left Dean Guitars in the last couple of years. Dave Mustaine, Michelangelo Badio, Rusty Cooley. I'm probably missing more just off the top of my head, but a decent amount of their artists have since jumped ship. And now one name I left out for obvious reasons because I wanted to make it a bigger, deal, I guess, you know what I mean, is Dimebag Darrell. His estate, jumped ship from Dean Guitars and said, we're not working together, and it was pretty ugly, and there's some serious accusations going on, and that's all still pretty relevant and, undecided and ongoing. The fact that all these artists are leaving does not look good. I mean, no matter really how you twist it, in the public eye, it's going to look bad, right? Maybe it's Dean Guitars trying to rebrand. A lot of the people that have left the company are relatively old now and kind of, in their twilight of their career. I'm not trying to be mean, but it is what it is. So maybe Dean Guitars is trying to rebrand and come up with newer, younger artists, and maybe the older artists are wanting too much money, and maybe that's why it's falling apart. I don't know. That's completely speculation. I have no idea what the reasoning is. That's just me hypothesizing, if that's even a word. Now, let's focus on the good, because I do think there is a lot of good coming from Dean Guitars that not a lot of people talk about. Starting right off the bat, they acquired Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein from the Misfits and Doyle. Now, before we go any further, I saw a ton of people saying this, that Dean Guitars is just pulling straws and is just trying to get any artist to come on Dean Guitars after the Dimebag Darrell lawsuit estate fiasco. And that is 100% false. Doyle walked into the Dean Guitars headquarters around 2017. And this whole artist brand deal, we'll call it, has been going on for over 4 years. All right? So it is not Dean Guitars on a last minute kind of just, we got to get somebody, Doyle, come here. That's not what happened. I talked to Doyle off camera, one-on-one, and talked to Chris Canella. They said the same thing. Like, this has been going on for several years, and they even showed me like old archived footage of building the initial kind of body shape from years ago. So that's what's going on. It's not Dean Guitars pulling, just any artist as like a desperate thing. It's not true. Another good thing that's happening is just look at the lineup for 2022. In my opinion, I think Dean Guitars in 2017, 2016, maybe even a little 2018, they were kind of behind the curve, behind the 8 ball in terms of, getting what's relevant on a guitar, in a guitar in terms of specs. But now, looking at their lineup, man, they got Evertunes, Fishmans, EMGs, multi-scale, stainless steel frets, all in their import models and at a relatively affordable price. Those specs that I named right there are the staples on what everybody is doing nowadays. And Dean Guitars, now has all of said specs. I mean, Evertunes and stainless steel frets, that's like what everybody loves nowadays, and Fishman's. So like they have several guitars with all 3 of those specs in-house. And yeah, so their product line, in my opinion, is actually pretty good and up to standard. And one thing I think is interesting is Dean Guitars is kind of like Gibson and even like Fender too. Like they're kind of like known for like their classic aesthetic and classic heritage. They're very prideful of that, and rightfully so, man. But I think it's cool to see like classic shapes like the ML and the Cadillac have modern specs, and I think that you know, it's long overdue. But the fact that Dean is finally having these modern appointments and modern features is a win, man. So I think that is another, you know, tally in the good column of this video. Another positive that's going on at Dean Guitars is they just added their own paint shop in-house for their USA custom guitars. Now, this Dean right here is a custom guitar, and that was built in Florida and then shipped to California to be painted and then shipped back. So that was like extremely expensive to ship and extremely expensive to paint in California, but also too, it just took a lot of time. So now the fact that they just have their own paint booth in-house, in-shop, is really awesome for them, because it's just going to make them crank out USA guitars. My mom's calling. Hey, Mom. Hey, what's up? I'm currently filming here on YouTube right now.
Hey, everybody, it's Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks for being a good sport. All right, I'll talk to you later, okay? All right, bye. My mom. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, talking about paint booths or something. Long story short, you know, I lost my train of thought. They got a paint booth in-house, so that's cool. And one final positive, one final good tally we'll put in the good column. When I was down there at their Armadillo All Access AAA event, whatever they call it, I watched a wall of about like 15 to 20 USA guitars sell out within like 15-20 minutes. They couldn't keep them, you know, in stock, we'll say. They made them all for the event, and like dealers and musicians and just customers bought them all like that. And it was really crazy to watch. Like, I couldn't believe it, man. I was just like, wow, like they're just selling like crazy. And the prices of these things was even more astounding. They were selling from anywhere from like $4,000 to like $20,000, man. You know, remember that one time when you had 20 grand to spend on a guitar? I know, me too, right? But in all seriousness, it was just like, it was insane to watch them just fly off the shelves. So obviously, Dean Guitars has a market, especially in the USA Custom Shop. And now, the one that I don't really necessarily want to talk about, but I do because I'm making this video, is the ugly column. And that is Dean Guitars is having their lawyers going after people who are playing not even counterfeit guitars, just trademark infringement guitars of the ML. So in case you guys haven't heard, which I'm sure you have, some guy on YouTube and Instagram had a guitar that was made by a small company that was ML shaped and is no longer in production because Dean Guitars sent this manufacturer a cease and desist. Well, somebody, just a regular person, owns one of these guitars and is playing one of these guitars, and now Dean Guitars / Armadillo Enterprises is having their lawyers go after this person on social media, saying, hey, take down all YouTube videos and all Instagram posts and everything with this guitar, or we are forced to take legal action. I'm sorry, man, but that's a huge bummer to hear. If this person was making these guitars, yeah, that's a huge problem. But this guy just owns one of these things. He just owns a guitar. It's just like a lawsuit guitar. Remember all those lawsuit Les Pauls, like the Ibanez's and, you know, all that stuff? I know dozens of my peers that own those. And, like, they haven't been sent, like, letters from a lawyer, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know too much about the law, but I don't think it's illegal to just own one of these trademark infringed guitars. It's illegal to sell and distribute, but as far as I know, man, like, you can have these things in your possession. You can walk down the street with it. It's not a narcotic. It's not like, I don't know, it's not a bazooka, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a guitar, man. It's not illegal to possess one of these things. So it's very puzzling, and it's pretty saddening, honestly. And one final thing, I want to go down this rabbit hole with you. Come along with me. Dean Guitars and Gibson Guitars are going through a legal battle right now, right? There's a pending lawsuit that has yet to be decided, right? So, this guitar right here, I bought this guitar. It's a Dean Flying V. The Flying V shape is in question between Dean and Gibson. Let's say, hypothetically, Gibson wins. Now, all Dean V guitars are now infringing on Gibson's trademark, right? Well, by Dean's very own theory, Gibson could send me an email and a letter saying, hey, remove all YouTube videos and Instagram posts with that guitar, or otherwise we're forced to take legal action against you. If that happens, I'd tell Gibson to go kick rocks, you know what I mean? Think about how many Dean guitars are out there in the world. There's millions of them, man. So like, if Gibson's gonna do that, could you imagine, man? That would just be so crazy. But again, using Dean's very own logic here, if so facto, like, Gibson could come after these guitars, and that is bananas to me. So it's a huge bummer, and it's pretty ugly, and I honestly think it really is a major PR error by Dean Guitars, man. Again, I'm not here to bash the company, but I think it's a huge mistake. We all make mistakes, but I just don't understand why they would do that. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's a bummer to see. So a lot of people are saying that Dean Guitars is going under. Dean Guitars will be no more in like 2 to 5 years. I mean, who knows, man? It could just be people, being dramatic. I saw a lot of great things down there when I was down at Dean Guitars. Morale was super high. Business was booming. But hey, man, what do I know? But yeah, that's all the stuff that's going on with Dean Guitars right now. So I want to leave it up to you guys. What do you guys think of everything that I laid out in this news story? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What do you think the future holds for Dean Guitars? I'd just love to hear you guys' thoughts. Again, this video is not made to bash Dean Guitars, just laying out what's already out there in in the public eye. So yeah, man, it's a bummer to make this video, but it is what it is. It's the news, and I always try to cover the news and be as unbiased as I can. All right, so everybody, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.